Kenyans. Then finally, to answer your question, are Kenyans winners or losers? Kenyans are winners to some extent, because when you look at some of the appointments here, they are very serious individuals. I'll give an example of somebody like Rebecca Miano. This is a lady whose CV is quite vast. I'll look at an example. I'll give an example of Penina Malonza, also quite vast. I'll look at examples of the finance minister, Njuguna Ndungu, as we had mentioned. And basically, to some extent, we are winners, but to some extent, we are also losers, because when your cabinet is full of, not full of, but when a great percentage of your cabinet is politicians, you might want to be worried a bit. For example, look at the example of, for instance, sorry to say this, but I will give an example of Aden Duale in the Ministry of Defense. Defense is quite a sensitive ministry that requires somebody who does not necessarily by nature subscribe to a style of politics or a way of life that interests are placed first. For politicians, and I have been one, or rather I still am one, I will hope to become elected at some point. As a politician, your way of thinking is you're conditioned to think about interests. Right. What are my interests first? What are the interests of the president first? But now you see a ministry like defense, you can't place a person whose mentality is conditioned to think about interests first, because at the end of the day, what if their personal interests supersede the interests of the country? What if the person who appoints them, the interests of that person supersede the interests of the nation? So we must ask ourselves, winning or losing, it's neither here nor there, so it's yes and no.
Well, Duale isn't here to give a response to that, but I'm sure he probably, if he's watching, he'll tweet. But, and in a pushback, the administration might say, because of their new approach, the CSs will be held to account, not just by House committee, but by Parliament.